Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Joppy Noodle Legs here today with another Noodle film review. Today we're looking at the Spanish classic Tombs of the Blind Dead. I believe this was released in the early 70s, maybe about 71 or something like that. But yeah, it's and I've got this as part of my Blind Dead collection box set. So if you remember, I had this on my pickup video. So I thought I'd review these for you. First of all, I thought I'd look at the first one. Now these are just normal DVDs. They're produced by Anchor Bay. These are now out of print, and this box set is quite expensive to get. It's about £75, £100 odd to pick it up. I lucky picked mine up at CX at a really good price, and because I had trade-ins, it didn't really cost me anything. So I was really glad to pick it up. So I've been dying to see these again since I picked it up, because it's been a while, a good few years since I've seen these. So first of all, I'll give you a little synopsis of this first one. It is based in Spain, and it starts off like really bizarrely like a sort of seaside or hotel by a swimming pool. And then you see these two girls who seem to be old school friends meet up again, and they're chatting and sort of like talking about old school times, and one of them's not happy about it, being a bit hush hush about it. Anyway, this guy comes out the pool and joins him. That's now our three sort of like trilogy of 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 the main sort of characters in the film. And so he's talking to him, said, "Oh, it's great you two re-met, so we should all go and celebrate and go away for a weekend to the countryside." Um, and one of the girls says, "Well, I don't really want to go because, you know, I'll be on my own as you two. I don't want to be like a gooseberry because, oh no, we're just sort of friends sort of thing. So, you know, but yeah, if you get someone to come along, we might get a foursome." Anyway, so then she decides to go, and they meet up at a railway, an old steam sort of train station, and she's first of all, they didn't think she was going to turn up.
No hay problema, comprendo. Aquí vas a hacerlo todo tú, incluso ver si aquellos viajeros tienen billetes. Sí, padre. Pues dale el carbón, que vamos a salir enseguida.
Ya te dije que nos daría plantón. Van a dar las 5.
Quedó en venir y vendrá. Habrá tenido un contratiempo.
Es mejor que nos subamos al tren y que nos acomodemos en un buen sitio.
Mira, ahí viene.
Señores viajeros al tren.
No sabéis cuánto lo siento.
No te preocupes, el tráfico está muy mal.
No es eso. Quedé con un amigo y ha fallado a última hora.
Pues él se lo pierde. ¿Vamos?
Yo no, solo vine para avisaros. ¿Podrías haber llamado por teléfono a la estación? Ya lo hice, y un señor muy antipático me dijo que no pueden dar recados a los viajeros una vez que han pasado el andén, así que disculpadme y divertíos. Adiós. Chao.
No, nada de eso. Tú vienes con nosotros. ¿Verdad, Virginia?
¿Está bien?
Verás unos paisajes maravillosos.
But as you see, eventually she does turn up. I mean, she's saying she's not going to go because the person that was going to come with him has let her down. She doesn't want to go. But the guy's really insistent. He obviously really fancies her. And he's like, yeah, still come along. It'll still be great. Good. And she goes, "Oh, she'll come." And the other girl then is sort of like starting to see that he's really sort of like taking the shine to her. So you can see she's a bit moody and a bit put out by it. Anyway, she decides to go, and they start off on their train journey, and they start jibber jabbing about all sorts of stuff. And the new girl to the guy and the girl, she stands up and sort of falls onto his lap and he's sitting on his lap giggling. So the other girl gets really upset by it and walks out and goes outside the train to sort of talk, you know, to just get a bit of fresh air, because she's feeling a bit sort of like, you know, uncomfortable. So the other girl goes and talks to her to see what's going on, and then there's like a flashback of like when these two are at school, but they look exactly the same. It's like, how can you be at school? You both still look like you're in your 20s in this clip. And then they have some sort of intimate scene together where the girl has come on to the young girl quite heavily, and then there's like a scene between them, like a sort of intimate scene, and then it cuts back to the train when the guy comes out, and he can figure there's something wrong. So the other girl goes back to her seat and she speaks to the young lad of the train, said, does this train stop at any other stop? Or, I want to get off before she doesn't want to go on with these two anymore. She feels too uncomfortable. And the guy goes, no, we don't stop until the end of the journey. So she takes it on herself to sort of like leave the train herself.
¡Virginia! ¡Virginia! ¿Pero es que estás loca? ¡Virginia! ¡Virginia, vuelve!
¡Vuelve! ¡Por favor, vuelve!
¿Qué vas a hacer? Voy a echar el freno. No pares por nada del mundo. Pero es que he usado la alarma. Ni aún así. Mira, padre.
¡Que os divirtáis!
So as you see, she's jumped off the train, and the other two see her and they were like, oh, well, come back. What are you doing? Don't go. Anyway, instead of them trying to get the train stopped, sort of straight away, that they just sort of like say, no, don't go. And the driver of the train doesn't want to stop because the young lad sees the girl walking across the field, and the old boy says, no, we're not stopping here. He knows the history of this area that she stopped at, that she jumped off. Anyway, we see her walking through like these sort of fields and little bits of woodlands for a little bit, and she comes across this old sort of medieval sort of town. So I've stuck a couple of clips together there. That's not how the film was cut. That's my film editing. No, I've just stuck a couple of clips together just so you can see a little bit, because it goes on for quite a while. Her sort of exploring this little, let's say, town. It's not really much of a town. It almost looks like an old sort of monastery or something. And you can see it's like a graveyard in there. And the backstory of this little town gets told throughout the film. So she goes around the whole sort of like town looking around, and it's all sort of like rotten and ruined, and like she comes across like a wooden door, she pushes it and it falls over. It's that sort of old age. It's a medieval town and no one sort of like lived there for years. And anyway, she does eventually find one little place inside that she can go into, and she decides to settle down there for the night. She lights herself a little fire and gets naked and puts her pajamas on, as you would, and she's got her sleeping bag with her and stuff. So she just sort of like makes herself comfy for the night, puts her radio on, listens to jazz music, and reading a book, as you do in the middle of like this scary medieval town in the middle of the night. So she does that, and then we get treated to some awesome sort of like footage of the graveyard. So that's quite cool, and I have to say that when I first saw this years ago, the reason I was really attracted to the film because I liked the look of the zombies, and they still look fantastic today. They look amazing. They look a proper zombie. These are the best looking zombies I've seen in any zombie film. These are not like your George Romero zombies or something. These are like this, and they look like that, and they're amazing. Anyway, so they get out and come back to life, um, and some of them are on horseback. So zombies on horses, you're not going to get anything better than that, are you? Anyway, so she hears noises going on outside, and she sort of like investigates, and the zombies, and she sees the zombies, and they sort of like breaking into where she's made her little lair. Anyway, they finally get in. They chase her around this sort of like um, building, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere around, over the roof. She gets out. She leaps onto a horse. Okay, and she sort of like escapes the village, but then the horse zombies chase after her and catch up to her, and then she's sort of like uh, grisly killed. Um, so she's been killed, uh, and then and then the train goes by again, and they see, and the driver and the son, whatever, see the body laying in the field. Because oh, we can't do nothing about it. The police would deal with that. Anyway, it then cuts to like the original, the other two of the threesome in wherever they're visiting, and they find out she hasn't turned up at home yet. So they're a bit worried. So they hire a couple of horses to go to this little medieval village in search of her. And then that's when we start getting a bit of history about the um, the village and what it's about. And I'm not going to tell you because I'm not going to spoil that. Anyway, so that they get on their horses and they go there, and the police are already there, and they tell her that she's dead. Or is she? I'm not going to tell you anymore. You have to find that out because you know the history of zombies. So I'm not going to tell you anymore because I want you to try and dig this film out if you can and watch it. I believe you can buy them singly, probably a bit more reasonably priced than trying to buy the box set. So if the box set's quite pricey, if you can find them singly, try and get them one at a time. You know, it'd be really cool. What do I think of it? It's awesome. It hasn't lost its charm at all. It's still amazing. It's still really cool. It's still terrible and awful and amazing at the same time. It's all in Spanish, and they're very fluent, so they're speaking very quick. So you have to be quick to read the subtitles. So it's quite quick, but that's cool. And the music does not suit the film, and I love that as well. It's got that real 1970s sort of Harry Palmer sort of music, you know, like it's straight from the Express Files and stuff like that, and it just doesn't suit the film. But yeah, it's brilliantly filmed. The photography is fantastic. It's just a great film, and the story is really cool, and the backstory of this film is amazing, and it's really, really cool. It's even got like goes little flashbacks to like before these were zombies, and there was like and there was like the witches sort of time. Really, really cool. So the positives about this film, the transfer holds up today. It looks stunning. You can see in the little clips I put there how good that looks for a DVD. That looks no Blu-ray looks any better. This is why sometimes, guys, don't always think, oh, I wish I had it on Blu-ray. Not always the best case. Sometimes a DVD is just as good. Yeah, the acting's fantastic. It's really bad. I absolutely love it. The zombies are incredible, and they are the best looking zombies I've ever seen in any zombie movie. These are proper zombies, not like I do love George Romero zombies, but they're people painted blue, aren't they? And and stuff like that. Bits of arms missing. These are proper zombies, sort of skeletons, sort of armed sort of zombies in capes and cloaks with faces like that. Oh man, amazing. Best looking zombies you'll probably see in a long time. Awesome. The gore's good. There is some gore in it, and it does get gory in some places, considering it's like the 1970s. I can't remember the year. I'm going to try and see if it tells me on here what year it was. 1971. So I wasn't far off. I think I said 1971. This came out in 2005. This box set, and it's been out of print since pretty much then. So it's like 15 years old out of print now. This box set, and it's like for horror fans, it's like one of those sort of holy grail items. This box set to own. It's a sought after box set, so it's cool. Yeah, the gore is still really, really cool, and it still holds up to date. Negatives to the film, it's difficult to say. I would have loved them to have done a English dubbed, because I think that would have been hilarious, and I'd love to have seen that on there. This does actually have some extra features in here, although it doesn't need it. It does have what is it? It has the original mono soundtrack. It has Spanish and English subtitles, a trailer, posters, and still gallery, which is quite cool considering that the box set has actually got a disc of its own, of like special features and a documentary. So that was really, really cool. So negatives are very slim. Like I just said, yeah, it would have been good to have had an English dub, because I love things like that, because I think that's what makes a lot of the Italian horror so cool, the way they're dubbed. That would have been really cool. But as negatives go, you can't put negatives on this. It's an old film, and it looks amazing, and it's still quite eerie. It still holds its atmosphere. It's fantastic. So I'm going to put this down as an awesome watch and score it 9 out of 10. It's that old, but it's still that good. 9 out of 10, guys. Tombs of the Blind Dead. Seek it out if you can. Have any of you guys seen it? Let me know down below if you have, what you thought of it. I think it's amazing, and these zombies are. I'm just surprised that no other film sort of copied these sort of zombies and did more like zombies like this, because the zombies like it's from the mid-70s upwards were all sort of, even the 60s with a Night of the Living Dead, were just people coloured like blue and stuff and just biting into flesh. Yeah, they're very gory and amazing films, but I love the zombies look on this film. I think it's got a real sort of like, if I show you the box again of the Ghost Galleon, they look like that. How cool is that? How Scooby-Doo is that? It's amazing. Absolutely brilliant. 9 out of 10. Tombs of the Blind Dead. Guys, check out some horror channels for me before my next video, please. Check out Horror Hands, The Horror Geek, Man v Film, Sarah of Horror, Pizzlewell, RS Designs, I Am Ice Lord, Horror Todd, all amazing channels. And The Horror Geek, if I haven't said his name. Check them all out. Fantastic. Until next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.